Good morning, guys. How are y'all today? Y'all doing better? Keeping warm? Better than yesterday? Okay, so today we're going to read the story, How Did That Get in My Lunchbox? But before we actually read the story, I want to do some vocabulary words. Okay? All right, so our first vocabulary word is stalk. Ready? Stalk. Stalk. So a stalk is the main stem of a plant. So do you see like the trees? It's kind of like a trunk. The trunk, like the big long part. So like whenever you think of like a corn plant, it's that long part. It's the stalk. Okay, it's the long portion of it. So like in a flower, it's the body that holds the leaves. Okay, so stalk. Stalk. Okay. Dairy. Y'all know what dairy is, right? Okay, so dairy is a place where milk is prepared for drinking or is made of other products like butter, cream, and cheese. So a dairy farm, it's like a milk farm. So dairy is kind of like a synonym for milk. Okay? Curds. Curds. So curds are the lumps that form in milk when it turns sour. So what I kind of think of whenever I think of curds is like cottage cheese. I like cottage cheese with my pineapple or with my pineapple or my peaches. I like it. Curds. Curds. Okay. Tingly. Tingly. All right, so something that feels tingly stings a little or feels prickly. So sometimes like whenever you eat pineapple, like you get that feeling in your tongue, you know? We're going to be talking about that kind of tingly, okay? Scarlet. Scarlet. If something is scarlet, it is bright red in color. So it is kind of, scarlet is a synonym for the color red. Okay? Leave it alone. Roxy, leave it alone. No, ma'am. Sorry, guys. Okay, grove. Grove. A grove is a group of trees that are close to one another. So like whenever you think of like an apple orchard or like a peach grove, okay, so they're all closer together, okay? So it's kind of like some kind of tree farm. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. All right, ready? Stalk, dairy, curds, tingly, scarlet, grove. All right, so those are going to be your vocabulary words for this story, okay? So again, I can't read the story to you, so you're going to have to read the story by yourself, all right? But I want you to pause this video first, and then I want you to read the story by yourself. And then whenever you're finished reading it, I want you to come back, and we are going to kind of dissect the story and talk about it a little bit more. Okay? All right, did you pause me? Have you come back? All right, so this story is an informational text. So an informational text is a text that provides information to you. So with informational text, there's going to be a lot of text features, okay? So the text features that we're going to be looking at today, they're mostly all sequencing, okay? So that's saying that something happened first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So it's steps that have to occur in that order for something to happen, okay? So the story, How Did That Get in My Lunchbox? The Story of Food. All right, the author is Chris Butterworth, illustrated by Lucia, kill her name, guys, Gagati. I know I killed it, I'm sorry. Okay, y'all ready? All right, so pages 286 to 287. All right, so these two pages right here, this is gonna kind of set the groundwork for what we're going to read, okay? So the central idea is introduced in these 2 pages, all right? So the central idea is kind of like the big main point. What is the whole story about? So what is the central idea in the story, guys? So the central idea was kind of introduced in a question form. So pages 287 asked the 2 questions. The 2 questions were, where did it come from before it was in the store? And how did this food get in your lunchbox? So throughout this whole story, we're going to be answering those 2 questions. That is our central idea. That is our main point. So the food in your lunchbox comes from somewhere else before it gets to the store. That is your main central idea. So central idea, how did this food get into my lunchbox? Okay, that is what we're going to be answering throughout the whole story. Okay, that is the big idea. All right. Page 288 and 289. Hello there, friend. All right, guys. So what are the 2 ways that the author organizes text on this page? So what the author does, it organizes in sequence order. So the author basically says this happens first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And because this happened, this now happens. So they are now also organizing information in cause and effect. So because the farmer cut wheat, we can now take the wheat to the flour mill to be grained, right? So it's cause and effect. It's also organizing it in sequential order. So, all right, the farmer planted it first, right? And then it grew. And then after it grew, it was harvested. So it's going in order, okay? So first, second, third, and then cause and effect, okay? Those are your two main organizing forms that the author uses, okay? Let's see. So the author also uses a lot of different text features in these 2 pages. So the main one that it uses is headings and subheadings, okay? So the main heading, you can kind of differentiate it. So the format of the text is different, and then the boldness of the text is different, and the size. So we can see, oops, no, I'll pick it up later. Okay, so we can see, right here, up here, guys, that this is the heading, okay? So over here, there's subheadings. This is a subheading right here. It says grains, because we're going to talk about grains right here. And then this yeast and sugar, that's kind of like a subheading. And flour, that's also kind of a subheading. But that subheading is also it's not a caption. Do you remember? It points to something. If you remember it, message me. You'll get an extra brownie point. All right, so it starts with an L. Wait. Is that your L? Yeah? Wait. Am I backwards? Hold on. Okay. It starts with an L, okay? Okay? That's all I'm going to tell you. But if you figure it out, message me. Okay, so again, it is using cause and effect in headings and subheadings, okay? Page 290 and 291. Ready? All right, so these 2 pages are also being organized in sequential order. The author now changes the format of how it's presenting your information. So remember how, like, in the grain and the bread, it was organizing in sequential order, right? But it didn't number it how it did on page 290 and 291. So now the author has introduced actual steps, right? So it is saying first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. It's giving us a process, right? All right, so what is the main question that we're answering in these 2 pages? How did the cheese get in your sandwich? Get in your lunchbox. So it's answering the question about the cheese. How is it? It's talking about the process that the cheese is making, right? All right, let's turn the page. Pages 292 and 293. All right, so, ouch. All right, so I want to talk about how these illustrations are adding information to the text that we're reading. So on page 292, it says that that the tomatoes are grown in a tunnel full of tomato plants. That tunnel, that illustration above that paragraph 13 is showing us an illustration of that tunnel, right? It's because whenever you think of tunnel, like I think of like a train. And you know the tunnels that the train goes under it? That's what I think of whenever you say tunnel, right? The illustration on page 292, that tunnel, you get a completely different visual of what that tunnel looks like. So this isn't an actual tunnel. What is this called? It is called a greenhouse. It is not an actual tunnel. It's an actual place where plants are grown that sustains an actual climate, optimizing the growth of the plants, right? So it's not really a tunnel. It's kind of like a place. Okay. Let's see. On page 293, it says that one of the process is. Where did it go? Oh my God. Okay. It doesn't say anything about the plants being analyzed, right? But on page 293, this middle picture where it's going like the tomatoes are going through the conveyor belt. There's a woman there, and she has an apron, right? And then there's a man next to her with an apron too, and a magnifying glass. What is he doing? So he is probably looking at the tomatoes and probably looking for anything like maybe if like bugs got into them to like take them out of the conveyor belt. So he's observing them, and he is probably sorting them and saying like, "Ooh, good tomato, no bad tomato. Ooh, good tomato, bad tomato." So this is also adding more visuals to the process of the tomato, okay? Okay. Page 294. All right, so what is the main structure of that the author uses to organize their information? If you said sequencing, you're right. It is giving us steps. It's saying first we gotta do this, second we gotta do this, third we gotta do this, fourth we gotta do this, and then you have this product, right? What product are they making? Apple juice. And in the process, one of the processes is mashing it. So what do you think they do with the rest of like the stuff? Do you think that they just throw it away? Maybe some research, possibly? All right, so it is using a step-by-step processing. So it is kind of it is called sequencing, but we can also put this in a timeline form, right? If we wanted to organize it differently and if we wanted to manipulate the information for our understanding, we could put it in kind of like a timeline format, right? Because it gives us what like the different steps that the apple has to take in order to produce that juice, right? Okay. Turn the page to 296 and 297. Okay, ready? All right, so what causes the tops of the carrots to poke out of the ground, guys? So the text says that the carrots have soaked up the water from the ground, and now they have swelled up, right? So after they have swelled up, it is now being pushed up towards the up above the ground, right? on top of the ground. So what is the difference that the way that the carrots, that the farmer harvests the carrots versus how the farmer harvests the apples from the trees? I kind of told you the answer. Okay, so yes, the farmer picks the apples from the trees, and how we get the carrots, they are being pulled up from the ground, right? But they both use their hands. So that is one similarity that they do use, okay? Okay, let's turn the page. We're almost done, guys. Page 298 and 299. All right, so again, the author is using bold words to emphasize a word on page 299. What word is that? So it is juicy. Do y'all see how it's bigger and bolder? So why would the author do that? So, I mean, we could say, yeah, it's juicy, like it just but it's trying to say, like, trying to use your 5 senses. My mouth is watering. Your 5 senses for you to realize, like, it's gonna, like, come out and, like, kind of make you want one, right? Sorry. Right? How do the clementine pickers, how do they use color to decide when the fruit is ready to be picked? Do y'all remember? So when it is green, it is called starts with B, berry. And when it is yellow, it is, starts with G, growing, but not fully ripe. And when it is orange, it is ready to be picked. All right. All right, guys. So on page 301, you're gonna see this. Bloop, bloop, bloop. This collaborative discussion. All right, so this collaborative discussion, I want you to answer those 3 questions, okay? But I want you to use full sentences. That does not mean one-word answers. I want capitalization, punctuation, spelling to be correct, okay? It's only 3 questions. It's not a lot, okay? And I think that is it. Yes, I think that's it for the reading part. All right, so I dropped my paper. All right, so today for our vocabulary, what you're going to do is you're going to use our 5 vocabulary words, which is stalk, dairy, curds, tingly, scarlet, and grove. You're going to use those 6 words. 2, there is a option chart right here, and you can do any of these 12 options that you would like to do, okay? Your vocabulary words are also on page, let's see. I saw it a minute ago. I think it's 295. Oh, no, it's 284. It's 284. Your critical vocabulary right there, it says stalk, dairy, curds, tingly, scarlet, and grove. Use those 6 vocabulary words for this choice board, okay? So you're going to take a picture of page 301 for the collaborative discussion, and then on a piece of paper somewhere, you can do any of these activities with your 6 vocabulary words, okay? And then take a picture of that and send it to me. So I should have a total of 2 pictures today, okay? If y'all have any questions, let me know. Oh, this is kind of blurry. I'm going to look online and see if I can get a clear picture of it, and then I'm going to post it on Class Dojo, and that way y'all have a better one, because this is kind of blurry a little bit, okay? if y'all have any questions or concerns, let me know so I can try and help you. Yeah, that's it. I hope y'all have a wonderful Wednesday, and we will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.